What's up, my dudes? Fully loaded AP. Got a little video here on Aaron Plessinger going to Red Bull KTM. I'm not exactly 100,000% sure that that's where he's going. I don't think there's been any official information announcement on that, but we're all pretty sure. Kind of like we was all pretty sure Tomac was going to Star Yamaha. We was all pretty sure Jason Anderson was going to Monster Energy Kawasaki, right? So I couldn't imagine this one being all that much different. I guess it still is technically possible that he is going to go to like something like, gas or something like that. But I just couldn't really imagine that. So anyways, that's been the talk of the town. Plessinger is going to Red Bull KTM. Holy, let's come up short. All right. So yeah, and all I can go by is what the information I have at this current point making this video. So, if Plessinger comes out and says tomorrow that he's going to Husqvarna or something like that, then, I couldn't really control that. So yeah, I just wanted to get in here and talk about this a little bit because it's interesting. Obviously, Star Yamaha is basically, I feel like, the best place you could possibly be right now, period. Whether you're on a 250 or a 450, in general, I believe that team is the best team, period, right now. Even though Webb's, been winning the 450 Supercross stuff, I still just think as a whole, the teams, I really feel like Star Yamaha is still the best right now, team-wise. But anyways, obviously KTM is probably like the next best thing in the 450 class right now, I would say. Oh my God, that tough block. That tough block was like, good try, Spence. We are not going to let you go past this point. You shall not pass. You are not going to collect your $200. All right. So, yeah. If Plessinger is going to KTM, that's probably the next best place he could have went on a 450. If he wasn't going to be able to stay on Star Yamaha, which we know that he's not going to be able to stay on Star Yamaha. He has already posted all that about leaving Star Yamaha, and they've posted about him, them splitting ways and everything like that. I bet you that was just them trying to open up the spot for Tomac. I have to imagine with how good Plessinger was doing in 2021, I don't really think that Star Yamaha just wanted Plessinger to leave or just wanted to kick him off the team or anything like that. He was doing the best he's done by far in the 450 class. So I'm sure that was a really hard decision that Star Yamaha had to make. But again, when Tomac wants to ride for your team, you'll pretty much shuffle just about anybody out of that spot to give Tomac that spot unless you're literally Cooper Webb. That's about the only place, only way and it's funny because it's and then now Plessinger is going to go on the team that Webb is on. And, they were pretty good buddies. They were both on Star Yamaha. But the thing I have to get across in this video is just because the KTM 450 worked for Webb does not necessarily automatically mean it's going to work for Plessinger. I think a lot of people are already kind of automatically going down that road of thinking, well, of course Plessinger is going to be amazing on the KTM. Look at what happened with why can I not think all of a sudden? My train of thought went kapoof. I didn't mean to hit that rock solid tough block right there. It kind of killed my train of thought. What I was trying to get at was just because all of that worked out really good for Cooper Webb, and he kind of came from Star Yamaha, then went to that other Yamaha team that they just could not figure it out. Webb nor Plessinger could figure out that 450 Yamaha team that they were both on before, obviously before Plessinger went back to Star Yamaha this year on the 450, and before Webb went to the KTM. I think it's they kind of both have a very parallel sort of path going on, so I think it's very easy for people to jump to that conclusion of, oh, well, maybe Plessinger will do really amazing on the KTM because that's basically exactly what Webb did. and he may do really good on it. I'm not saying he's not going to. I'm just saying there is also that chance where where Plessinger just won't be able to figure out the KTM like he had the Star Yamaha figured out too, and then he'll be right back kind of in the same pickle that he was in. Personally, I mean, oh my God, what kind of Kevin Windham-ass transfer am I doing here? Oh my God. Thank God there was a landing there, boys. Okay. But yeah, I mean, personally, I just think it is what it is at this point. If there was any way that Plessinger could have stayed on the Star Yamaha 450, I think that's what he should have done, and I'm sure he probably was trying to do that, but with Tomac coming in, there was just no way, like no way in hell that was going to happen. But from my own personal predictions, I mean, I feel like if Plessinger would have stayed on the Star Yamaha, kept doing what he was doing on it, he would have got better results in 2022 than he's going to get on this KTM. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to get good results on the KTM in like 2023, 2024, because he may do that, but I don't know. There's just something in my deep in the T-Sipper, the predictor's intuition here that I don't think Plessinger is going to just blow your mind on the KTM. I really don't. At least not the first year. He may figure it out there, second, third year, but I just feel like with the way Webb kind of rides that KTM, he really cuts it low in the corners like Dungey did. It's kind of like you have to ride the KTM 450 a particular way, it seems like. Even Marvin Musquin is more of a methodical, smoother type rider. Dungey's more of that smooth type rider. I don't necessarily know if that's going to fit in with Aaron Plessinger's riding style. He's a little more wild on the bike. He's a little more Barcia-esque on the bike, it seems like to me. Man, these tough blocks are not giving me any break today, boy. Oh, man. But, yeah, so that's kind of my opinion on it. I mean, I don't think anybody expected Webb to get on that KTM and go out there and win a Supercross championship the first year on it. I don't think anybody expected that. That was pretty unbelievable. But it's like Webb's going slower than most of the guys out there, but he's like, the way he corners and the way he cuts the corners down and the way he still is able to ride the bike like that later into the main event and really figure out those certain tracks that get super chewed up and how to kind of stay out of all the big ruts. It's kind of like the opposite style of Tomac. That's kind of the way I would explain how Webb is riding the KTM right now. Tomac goes in there and blasts the whole berm out of the corner. And Webb, completely cuts the corner where he doesn't even really hit the corner. It reminds me of, let me kind of show you, let me show you right here in this corner what I'm talking about. Oh, my God, I can't even move. These tough blocks are literally just grabbing me. They're just like, come here, Spence. We're going to take you down, dog. Okay, so this is how Webb corners. Okay, watch this. That's how Webb corners. You know what I mean? And then let me get over here. Oh my God, these objects, dude. I can't even move. Oh man. At least that was actually a metal object. Okay. And then this is more like how Tomac corners right here. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of the difference. Of course, that I couldn't really show a good example of that because we are in a game from more than a decade ago, so I probably could have showed that a little bit better on reflex, but you get my point, though. And I don't necessarily know if that's really how Plessinger rides. That's kind of what I'm stuck on when I think about Plessinger going to the KTM. I just don't really know if that's really going to exactly fit Plessinger's style on the bike. I could be completely wrong. Maybe him and Webb will get in there and get something figured out, and then it won't be like I'm thinking in my head, maybe. But it just seems like anybody that tries to get on the KTM and tries to be really wild on the bike or really crazy on the bike. I mean, we never got to see Stewart on a KTM. We never got to see Carmichael on a KTM. You know what I'm saying? Of course, the KTMs were a lot different back then, obviously. But still, my point being is I don't think we've ever seen one of these real, what you call out of control, ass in, sliding out, power, 100% throttle. I mean, these guys that just blow these berms out. I don't think we've really seen any of those that style of riding really succeed on the KTM yet. You know? I mean, Webb, I don't know. Maybe he's just like adapted to it in a sense. Like he's kind of changed his riding style to adapt to the KTM 450. I'm not really sure. Maybe that's the case. But definitely let me know down in the comments what you guys think about Plessinger going to KTM. I mean, personally, I think it's probably the best place he could have went other than staying on Star Yamaha. I think the best possible thing he could have done was stayed on Star Yamaha, but it is what it is. I just think, you know, anytime they can start to figure the bike out on a 450, they need to stay where they're at. That's the way I think of it, because like Plessinger on that other Yamaha, he just couldn't figure it out. He just couldn't get a podium on it. I don't even think he could really get a top 5 on that other Yamaha bike. But as soon as he goes to the Star Yamaha, he's pulling whole shots, he's leading races. He should have won 2 or 3, 4 or 5 races in 2021. But he ended up crashing and whatnot. But he was well in position to win a few of these different races. So it kind of sucks for Plessinger, because I feel like he was right on the cusp of being able to really be a 450 championship contender in 2022 if he would have just kept building on that Star Yamaha, kept getting a little bit better, fixing those mistakes. I mean, he pretty much had some wins in the bag right there, just from looking at how good he did in 2022. If he had just continued what he was doing on that Star Yamaha, he only would have got better. You know, and it seems like some of these guys, they just can't figure out a certain bike on a certain team for whatever reason. That's why I feel like it was good for Jason Anderson to change teams, because obviously something wasn't going right over there at that point. I feel like, you know, it was good for Tomac to change over because he needed a change, and he goes to Star Yamaha, which is the best possible place he could have went. I feel like of all the people that are changing teams, I feel like Plessinger may be the one getting the shit end of the stick in comparison to all the other guys, right? I just kind of get that vibe, but I'm not 100% sure if that's really going to be how it goes down. It just seems like that. But it's not like, you know, Plessinger got shuffled to some shit-ass team or something. You know what I mean? He's still going to be on, well, at least we think he's going to be on KTM. And, you know, that is the reigning Supercross champion bike. So, but it doesn't always necessarily mean, you know, people think, well, if Webb can go out there and win a Supercross championship on it, you know, Plessinger better be able to go out there and win on it. I don't think that's necessarily how it works. Especially with the KTMs, because they're just so... Seems like they're just so much different than the KTMs, Huskies, and Gas. I kind of have to put all those in the same category now. They're just different than the rest of the bikes, so it doesn't necessarily mean anything with those bikes in particular, because, you know, Plessinger's never rode any of those bikes before. He's never rode a KTM Gas Husky, so who knows if he's going to be able to really make it work. But anyways, that's just my opinion on it. I mean, I don't know. It could either work like really good in his favor, or it could work really bad for him, and it's going to be like, man, I wish we could have had Plessinger staying on the Star Yamaha. But it just sucks that he was on that Yamaha, that other Yamaha team for 2 years, couldn't figure it out, and then goes back to Star Yamaha. You know what? He won the 2 championships on the 250. And 2 or 3 championships. I don't even know how many he won. He did pretty good on that Star Yamaha. I mean, pretty much as good as Webb did on the Star Yamaha. I don't know if Plessinger won 2 250 Supercross titles or just 1. I know he got the outdoor and all that. But he had a very similar 250 upbringing, you could say, as Webb did. So, I don't know, man. I just don't know exactly how all that's going to go. Hopefully he can figure it out. I have no clue. I guess in that case they would have Plessinger, Webb, and Muscan on it for 2022 Supercross. I guess Plessinger's... He could be going to Husky. Could he not? I mean, I don't know. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, going to Husky, KTM, or Gas, or any of that is, you know, obviously Plessinger ain't going to no Suzuki team. Obviously Plessinger ain't going to Cowie, you know, and so that only really leaves so many options here, you know what I'm saying? So either way, man, that's my opinion on it. I mean, yeah, it just, what I was trying to get at, though, is it just sucks for Plessinger that, you know, he finally got back on the Star Yamaha while Star Yamaha is just starting to pop off in the 450 class. I feel like everything was just lining up perfectly for Plessinger to really start being able to prove himself on that bike. And then now he's going to have to change teams. It just, I don't know, it just seems unfortunate that that's how that went down for Plessinger in particular. But maybe it'll all work out pretty good for him. I don't know. Either way, I'm dragging this video out for 10 years. I appreciate all the support. We're going to keep these videos rocking and rolling. We're going to keep it going. The big dog, Spency boy, back at it again. You know what it is.